Saria, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how I made this Dollar Tree kind of shadow box thing. A lot of people were reusing these on Instagram and I only found one. So I did decide to just kind of hang on to it. It was in my New Year's resolution box of crafts, and so I pulled it out and I decided to do something with it. I did decide to go with the Little Mermaid because the backing on this shadow box already kind of reminded me of that.
Really quick change of plans. I did actually end up changing the background of mine because I decided to cover it in fabric, and I'm going to show you guys how I did that. So the theme actually ended up being Steamboat Willie because I decided to make this for my friend Erica. She has kind of a Steamboat Willie shelf in her house, and I thought it was the perfect addition to it. Continuing on.
Anyway, if you guys haven't subscribed already, please do. I put out regular Disney content and tutorials, things like that. And without further ado, let's jump into the tutorial.
Okay, so this is the little shadow box from the Dollar Tree that I was talking about. Originally, I was going to leave the background and do kind of like a Little Mermaid theme, but I decided to do something more advanced. So I just popped the frame off. It came off really, really easily, and then I am going to peel this off later on. But I decided to leave it because originally I thought I was just going to leave the background because it kind of looked like bubbles. But yeah, I'm going to peel this off later on. So first, I'm going to actually paint this. So I am using my Waverly white chalk paint. You can use acrylic paint, but with the Waverly chalk paint, you really only need 2 coats. If you use acrylic paint, you're probably going to need more like 5 coats, maybe 6, because it's so watered down. And then I'm just using a Dollar Tree sponge brush to paint this layer. After it dries, I go back in and do a second coat, and then I'm doing the same thing to the frame. I'm just going to make sure that I get all of it, front, back, top, inside, outside, all of that. And again, it is going to need 2 coats. Some of these frames actually do come in black and white, so it just kind of depends what you're able to find at your Dollar Tree. I have seen them setting out more of these recently, so hopefully you will be able to find one to do your own project. And once it's all dry, this is what it looked like assembled. I am going to show you guys what I'm going to do to the background now though. So I'm just popping this circle off with my hand. Do be careful because obviously you don't want to damage it, but it does come off pretty easily. And then this little block that kind of makes it pop out and be 3D, I'm actually going to use this little chisel that I have. They do sell chisels at the Dollar Tree if you need one. You could also probably try a flathead screwdriver or something like that. It does completely damage the background though, so if you're going to do this, it is going to damage the background. I've seen people peel off that paper. I was not able to do so. And also the fabric I'm using is white, so it's a little bit see-through, so I just decided to flip it over and use the back. However, fair warning, if you flip it over, it does not really fit perfectly back into the frame because you've turned it around. So you will have to kind of jimmy rig it to get it back into the frame. So I'm just going to start off by laying down my fabric with the right side down, and then I'm going to lay on that back plate and just use a fabric marker. I get these disappearing ink markers from Walmart. They last forever. And I'm tracing on the square, and then I'm just going to go ahead and cut that out. So now that I have my square cut out, I'm going to go ahead and lay this down. I am going to use Mod Podge to attach this. This Mod Podge is from Dollar Tree. And then I'm just using a random paintbrush that I had on hand, but you could also use a sponge brush or whatever you've got. You could even use your finger. Make sure you really, really go crazy with the Mod Podge. I did not put on enough. I did have to go back over it later on just to make sure that the fabric's not coming off. So you really want to use a good bit. After you've got it pressed down and attached, you're actually going to go back in with more Mod Podge over the top of it. This is just going to really help to seal it onto this little plate so that it's not peeling off. If you are worried about the edges, I would suggest going in with your hot glue gun and just kind of folding over the excess fabric over the edge. That'll just make sure it's not going to, you know, shift on you. And then in order to put this back in the frame, I did put hot glue on the sides, but I would actually suggest only putting dots into the corners of the frame and then firmly pressing it down. So the back of this is disgusting, but the front looks super cute. And then I'm adding on a little bit of hot glue back onto that block, placing it into the center, and then just firmly pressing it down. And next I'm going to go in with my circle and add in the image. So I did decide to go with Steamboat Willie. I will be using black Waverly chalk paint and this printout that I found of his silhouette. So I love this trick. This is one of my favorite tricks to use. I use a pencil on the back of the trace or the printout and just color all over it. You do want to cover the entire thing. Anything that you want transferred from this image, you do need to make sure that there is pencil marking on it. And then you're going to place it on top of your circle. And then I actually have started using a pen for this part because it does press down a little bit harder. And you're just going to go in and trace your image. So you're going to want to trace around all edges, sides, openings, everything that you're going to need. And then it will transfer it onto the disc. And the best part about this is that if you can get kind of out of the lines or whatever, it is just pencil, so you can like erase it if it's bothering you. But after tracing it, this is what the transfer looks like. And then I'm just gonna go in with this really tiny kind of like pencil thin brush and start painting. I am using the black or the ink Waverly chalk paint and just going in very carefully and following my tracing. I did get a little bit messy in parts, so later on I will go back in with the white color and just kind of clean up my painting. The great thing about this chalk paint is that it's so thick, you can cover up any mistakes that you need to if you layer. So like I said earlier, I did accidentally make a couple mistakes, so I'm just going back in with my white paint and kind of rounding out his nose and his mouth, and then I'm actually going to go back in and add in an opening on this little steering wheel that I accidentally painted all black and shouldn't have. And now that I'm done painting, I'm going to go ahead and glue this into place. I would suggest letting it dry, but me being impatient, I'm not going to. So I put some hot glue onto that little disc or cube, whatever you want to call it, block. And then I'm just going to take my Steamboat Willie and then press him down into the hot glue. So at this point I was going to stop, but I did find this really cute music print ribbon that I already had, and it was literally like almost the exact length that I needed to wrap around the edge. So I just decided to add this as an extra touch. Obviously you want to go with whatever theme you're doing. I'm just adding a little bit of hot glue to the bottom of the box, pressing down my ribbon, and then wrapping it all the way around. And I am pulling it quite tight just to make sure that it stays in place. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue back onto the bottom and then firmly press this down. You don't want to use too much hot glue because you don't want to make it like wobbly when you stand it up, but I also didn't want the seam to be seen. So that's it for this tutorial, guys. I hope you liked it. If you do decide to recreate this, please send me pictures, tag me, whatever it is. My Instagram is dreamitdiy. I would love to see what you guys create, especially since this has so many possibilities for different characters and themes and things like that. If you guys haven't subscribed, please do, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!
By the way, if you're interested in the ears that I'm wearing on my head, I did a tutorial on these fabulously, ridiculously obnoxious, wonderful scuttle ears. I do love them. I think that they're just over the top in the best way. Anyway, if you're interested in making your own scuttle ears with this lovely little feather embellishment, I will have that linked in the description box below and a card above.